Buenos dias and welcome to day 8 of Start Your Day with Purpose. A whole week. Congratulations to you, my friends. And congratulations to me, because this is much of an achievement for you as it is for me. We need to be very proud of ourselves. Making this sort of commitment requires a lot of determination and desire. It requires a higher level of self-love, enough commitment to waking up and listening and writing and just seeing what's going on inside of your heart and your head. And that's not something that many people do. So congrats. How are you feeling today? Check in with yourself very quickly. See what's going on in your head. If anything will serve you in the next few minutes, invite it in. But if the thoughts in your head are corrupting you or are making you feel not great, ask them to please leave. And be mindful about being here. Okay. So let's dive in, shall we? What if I told you that happiness is a skill and that you get to build your happiness just like you build any other skill? Devoting the time and the effort to building your happiness skill is central to constantly thinking, feeling, and acting in a way that makes you happy. So how do we build our happiness skill? As you learned yesterday, we start by working on ourselves and getting to know us, getting to know what makes us happy, what are the things in our life that are working, what are the things in our life that are not working, what do we want for our lives? If every day is an opportunity to build our day, what do we want to bring into our day? So today, I'm going to talk about 3 practices, which are also skills that have helped me build my happiness skill. And I believe they can also help you. It's going to be a little bit of a different session. And that is because a lot of you have asked me, okay, but why? Why? How? Right? And this is how. This is what has worked for me. So yesterday, you wrote 30 things that made you happy. Once you were done, did you feel any difference? Did you feel at ease? Did you feel more joy? Did you feel gratitude? Did you feel lighter? The first time that I did this exercise, it was like taking 2 bricks out of my backpack. I felt so much lighter. This is because I started looking at what had worked for me. And I bet the same thing happened to you yesterday. You started paying attention to positive things. You started seeing the gains in your life. And if you haven't written your 30 list, please do so. Please write a list of 30 things that will make you happy. So this takes me to the first skill that we're going to be talking about, and that is gratitude. When we think about gratitude, we think of saying thank you. It can be to a person, to God, to life, to our body, to ourselves. Gratitude is a feeling that allows us to be thankful for other people, for other things, and for experiences that we have. It is a skill that we develop. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. At the beginning of my self-discovery journey, I was not really attuned to my gratitude skill. On the contrary, I was very much ignoring all the good in my life. I was taking moments, people, and opportunities for granted. And for me, gratitude and its magnitude only really clicked in about 2 months into the pandemic, when I realized that I had been living for 2 months on autopilot, being terrified and ignoring the amazing opportunity that I had in front of me. The amazing opportunity to be with my kids and with my husband, and just the amazed at how blessed I was to have a roof over my head, a full fridge, and be healthy. So after about 60 days of waking up without a purpose, waking up drained and exhausted, one day I woke up and I purposely thanked God for my life, for being able to wake up that day, for my husband, for my kids, for my health, for my life, for my work. And this has become a habit. And every day I wake up, and the first thing that I do is go into gratitude. And what this has done is that it has helped me and allowed me to evolve every morning. It has allowed me to bring more of those blessings into my life. No matter what your situation is, there is always something to be grateful for. There is always something to be thankful for. This is one of the reasons why I invite you every morning or before a session, whenever you do it, to do gratitude, because it opens us up to see the blessings that we have. And when we do that, we receive more of them and we enjoy them more. We don't take anything for granted. So I invite you to do gratitude as the first thought in the morning. Say 3 things that you're grateful for. And maybe it's not your dream, right? Maybe you're not living your dream yet, but you can be grateful that you're on your way there. Maybe you don't know what your dream is yet, so you can be grateful that you're discovering it. Maybe something as little or as big as being able to breathe today, being able to feel today, having a warm bed. Start small, and you will continue to build that gratitude skill. The second skill that for me has been life-changing is positive thinking. And I bet you didn't know that this was a skill, but it is. And it is also a habit. You can get in the habit of thinking positively. This emotional skill allows us to see the good and the bad and shed some positive light on every situation that is less than ideal. So I realized that yes, maybe your situation is not great, but when you develop positive thinking, you start seeing the good. You start conditioning yourself to look not at the bad and not at the ugly, but rather at the positive, not at the lack, but at the gain, right? The positive. We don't give ourselves permission to look at the good. I don't know why. I'll do some research on it and I'll tell you why. But I think it comes from like school and culture and everything else, right? When we did our homework in school, we were not allowed to be proud of our grades. When we did something good, we basically had to hide the good in our lives for not making others feel bad. I would say that as a society, we have become a very pessimistic society. And if you don't believe me, watch the news. So how do we develop the skills? There are many ways, but one that has worked for me actually comes from Benjamin Hartley's book, The Gap and the Gain. And he suggests that we start every morning, actually the night before. And when I read that, I was like, oh, I like that idea because I'm conditioning myself to be at night with the person that I'm going to be the next morning. So he suggests that every night we look at 3 things that worked for us that day. And you may have seen me on Instagram posting my list of 3 things. And the reality is that I not only do 3 things that worked for me, but I also do 3 things that made me happy. By looking at the things that worked and at the things that made me happy, I am creating the habit of looking at things in a positive way. So when someone comes to me and says, oh my God, this horrible thing happened, I am now conditioned to look for the good in the situation, to look at the opportunities in the situation. Something that in my line of work as a coach comes very handy because I don't let people go into the gap that easily. But it doesn't only happen in my work. It also happens with my husband. It also happens with my friends. It happens when someone says, oh my God, the day is horrible because it's raining. It's raining. It's a condition. It's the weather. You can't do anything about it. But you get to choose if you think that the day is horrible or not. That you get to control. You get to say, all right, it's raining. Let's take an umbrella and some boots out. How grateful am I to have some boots? How grateful am I to have an umbrella? How does that? Okay, so that's the second skill, positive thinking. And the third and final skill that for me is very important when you're building your happiness skill is your ability to notice and course correct your thoughts. Notice and course correct our thoughts. This is our ability to notice what we're thinking. Do you find yourself thinking and noticing what you're thinking, like ever? Do you go into rounds and rounds and rounds of imaginary scenarios and conversations that will never happen? And most of the time, they're negative. Like we're all having fights in our heads. I'm going to give you an example. And if something like this has ever happened to you, I want to know how it was and what you were thinking about. So, the crazy person in my head, right? I have a few. I call her La Loca del Pueblo. Um, just goes off in different moments. So there was a day when we were having an amazing lunch at home. It was like a peaceful day. We were not doing much. We had a family lunch. I made carbonara. We sat at the table. We all sat at the table together. It was fun. The food was delicious. My husband and I had wine. The kids were super easy. I mean, the whole thing was just amazing. And after lunch, I am cleaning the kitchen and doing the dishes while my husband is glued to his phone on the dining table. And the crazy woman in my head just gets out and she starts making up all these stories about situations and my husband in a fight and things that will hopefully never happened. And I feel my body going into fighting mode. And I feel my mind going 1,000 miles an hour. I am becoming angry and I am becoming agitated. And then I notice what is happening. And I'm able to interrupt the thought. I'm able to breathe. I like put my head up and I tell Camilo, honey, just so you know, we're having an argument in my mind. He looks up from his phone and he's like, okay. I was bringing so much energy into the situation, right? But he was over there looking at his phone, minding his own business. But I was ready for war. So when I'm able to interrupt and notice my negative thoughts and stop them, and after I do, I'm able to replace them with something else, then I win. So I'm pretty sure this happens to you, right? So when a negative thought comes, right, and it comes for many reasons, not just like for love, it comes for money, for work, when you're stepping up, when you have a friend, it comes in many different shapes and forms. But when you notice these thoughts that are not serving you, you can interrupt them. You give their voice, that voice in your head that is having that conversation, some grace, and you allow her or him to go to hell. And then you can start with gratitude and with self-forgiveness. I have 1,000 examples of what this looks like, especially like around money, around being an entrepreneur, around being a woman, around having the same opportunities as other people, right? But it's noticing what we're thinking, which also requires us to be very mindful of what we're doing and who we are being in the moment. So by developing this skill of noticing your thoughts and interrupting them, you're also developing your mindfulness. Guys, this will change your life. This is actually the rope to pull you out of the hole. Interrupting your negative thoughts and replacing them with something positive that will serve you will just put you at a whole other level. Because it will require you and it will make the quality of your thoughts better every single day. And remember what we said the first day. We think the same thing over and over and over again, about 70 thoughts a day, 70,000 thoughts a day, right? And about 98 of them are repeated thoughts. So the more that you're able to interrupt that negative talk in your head, the more that you will be able to start bringing more positivity, therefore more happiness into your life. You can change what you think and you will change your life. So how are these tips and tricks feeling for you today? We're going to do a little reflection today. And I know that we're a little tight for time. So I want to just acknowledge one, thank you for being here. Acknowledge your effort. And I want you to notice and acknowledge anything that has shifted for you in the past week. So in a blank piece of paper, start writing. How do you feel now? What do you know now about yourself that you didn't know a week ago? How are you living your day? Do you find yourself more at ease? Do you find yourself going back to a place of center and of love? Are you giving yourself some grace? You can add them in the comments or feel free to DM me at Isabel Mayoral. That coach. You can always email me or text me. I am always here. I'm going to invite to spend about 5 to 10 minutes just writing what you have felt in the past week, what you've learned about yourself, and giving yourself the grace and the gratitude for doing the work. Tomorrow, we're not going to have a morning session. Tomorrow, we will have a recording that you will get via email or via the WhatsApp chat. You can also log in into the YouTube channel and you will see it there. I look forward to reading you. I look forward to see what has shifted in you. Have a wonderful day and thank you so, so much